Well, that seemed to do it. Good morning. And welcome to this gathering of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Greater Naples. My name is Steve Espinoza, and I'm going to be your worship associate today. Welcome to everyone here in the sanctuary, to those out on the pavilion, and to those watching on Facebook Live this morning. Whether you're here for the first time or been part of this congregation for many years, we are glad you are here with us. Is anyone here for the first or second time? There's Anne, I just met her. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, and please be sure to join us for coffee and conversation after the service out on our pavilion. We'd love to get to know you better. We gather as a community of seekers, thinkers, and doers, each on our own spiritual journey, but bound together by our shared values of love, justice, and compassion. As a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we embrace diversity in all its forms. We welcome people of every background, belief, identity, and life experience, recognizing that our strength comes from our openness to one another. Here, there's no single path to truth, only the light we bring to one another as we explore the mysteries of life together. In this space, we honor and celebrate our differences as we work to build a more just, inclusive, and loving world. Whether you are here in search of meaning, connection, or simply a moment of peace, know that you are welcome just as you are. And with that, our minister, Reverend Tony Fisher, has some words, and I just want to say, yesterday I was never more proud to be a Unitarian and a member of this congregation than when we saw Tony on the steps of the courthouse yesterday.
Hey. Thank you. And am I on? Hello. And I was never more proud to see so many Unitarian Universalist faces and shirts out there in the audience. It was fabulous, and thank you for that. And thank you for being here as our associate this morning. I'm grateful for all of that, for your appreciation and my appreciation for you, and to Mutual Admiration Society. That's good. I'm especially grateful to welcome our musical guest this morning, Bill Metz. Bill joins us from the Baha'i community. He's been singing and playing guitar for 50 years now, as he says, starting with American folk and blues, and a stint with a classic rock band for 6 years that he's happy to forget. Or maybe it was easy to forget, I don't know. And playing here and there, and we'll learn a little bit more about Bill a bit later. But I have a few announcements to share, so take a breath. After the service today, we have our annual meeting of members. You are asked to stay after the service. There'll be a brief time to go out and get a cup of coffee and enjoy a little conversation, but then we want you coming back right in to take part in our service. It shouldn't take too long today. I think it will go well. So an email, for those of you online, an email was sent out just a little while ago for the Zoom link for that meeting, so look for that. Fundraising for our weekend meals program continues today. Missy was here a couple of weeks ago giving it her best, and that was really all we needed to get excited about the program. But there are ways for you to contribute. If you are interested in supporting one family throughout the year, it's $325 to provide a bag of food every weekend for the school year. Half of that you can go in with somebody else, $175. But any contribution to our program would be great. It's one of our key programs here. and we feed over 175 children, and hopefully we can do more as we keep going. And thank you to Missy and all the volunteers who make that happen. It's a great, great program. Down in our Menaker foyer, the 50th anniversary celebration exhibit is going on. Pieces of artwork from our members are there. So a couple of pieces from a number of different members. It's great to go down and see the talent that we have. The bus to the Everglades Vigil will leave here as usual at 2 o'clock this afternoon. I'll be on it, and it promises to be a good event. Bring your umbrella, though. And if you haven't signed up for the bus, freedomvigils.org, you can do that. The free bus down to the vigil. Tuesday this week, there will be a special living room conversations with Janet Hoffman leading. The topic is Building the Future We Want, and we'll be joined by members of the League of Women Voters, so that sounds like a great thing. Wonderful Wednesday this week, Wednesday night, David Sleeper will be giving his Odyssey, which promises to be great. I understand that Wally will not be speaking during that time, but I think we'll be aware of his presence. So, and finally, last but not least, on April 11th, our 50th anniversary open house will be here, and we're urging everybody in the congregation to come at some point during the day. All the information is in the news articles, and Sean? One more announcement. Go ahead.
2 weeks from today is the final concert in our concert series on April 12th at 4 o'clock in here. Fernando Lopez Flores, an amazing Bolivian pianist, is going to be presenting, I believe his concert is about dance in music around the world. And he's spectacular, and the last concert he did in here was, I think we had literally every seat filled and people on the floor. So please come, you'll enjoy it.
All right. And let's take a deep breath and settle into this time of worship with this morning's prelude.
Lord, the lamps of guidance have gone out. The flames of passion are mounting high, and I find no soul except thine own. Oppressed small band raising up this cry, saying, make haste to love, make haste to trust, make haste to give guidance. Come ye for harmony, to behold the star of day. Come here for kindliness and for ease. Come here for amity, come here for peace. Cast down your weapons of wrath till unity is one. Come in the Lord's true path. Each one help each one. Help each one. Malevolence is ever gaining on the world. Malice and hate have overcome the whole earth. Yet with heart and soul, these oppressed of thine offer themselves up for all mankind, saying, make haste to love, make haste to trust, make haste to give guidance. Come ye for harmony, to behold the star of day. Come here for kindliness and for ease. Come here for amity, come here for peace. Cast down your weapons of wrath till unity is one. Come in the Lord's true path. Each one help each one. Each one help each one. Each one help each one. Each one help each one.
We come here having trod many paths, carrying with us our many burdens and gifts. We come to bask once again in the warmth of this community, to share with friends the ebbs and flows of our lives, to entertain our best wishes for a better tomorrow. We join together this morning, as always, to find our center and regain our energies to resist injustice and inequity wherever it may be found. Our hearts are touched by the human need we feel around us, whether far away or within the reach of our hand. We come here to be together because this is how we believe our lives are best lived, in questioning and conversation, in compassion and service, in gratitude and joy, in companionship and in love. Welcome, and please join me in the chalice lighting words you'll see on the screen. In the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment, we gather this day. May the flame we now kindle be to us a symbol of the unity we seek. And let's rise in body or spirit and join in our opening hymn, Wake Now My Senses. It's number 298 in the gray hymnal. We'll sing the first 4 verses.
Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation your vow. Giving, receiving as love shows us how. Wake now my reason, reach out to the new. Join with each pilgrim who quests for the true. Honor the beauty and wisdom of time. Suffer thy limit and praise the sublime. Wake now my passion with heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the white sky. Take as your neighbor both stranger and friend, praying and striving their hardship to end. Wake now my conscience with justice thy guide. Join with all people whose rights are denied. Take not for granted a privileged place. God's love embraces the whole human race.
And Bill, come on up. Thank you for being with us and joining us today. And thanks for bringing your community over here with you. It's good to see everybody over there.
Thank you. I'm honored, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm really honored. Thank you.
Good. So I wanted to touch first on the beautiful, wonderful prelude that you wrote. And I understand, as you shared, it was from a prayer.
It's the actual words. I changed no words. They are the words of a Baha'i prayer.
Mm-hmm.
That it moved me enough that I had to. It's a way to. I use it as a way to keep it in my mind. It's a prayer that I keep. Make haste to love.
That's beautiful.
Make haste to trust. Those are
Yeah, and some
good things.
Some key words that I think people picked up on about malevolence in the world today and so forth.
Yes.
So, fantastic. And how, in your creative process, how do these things? I mean, obviously you're inspired by some text, but how else do you? When do you write? How are you inspired?
honestly, I mean, I've been writing songs for a while, you know, personal songs. You'll hear at least one today. And I did that for a while just from here, I would feel. So it's usually what I feel.
Yeah.
It has to come from that. And sometimes I'll put it in a story. Sometimes I'll just tell you what I'm thinking and what I feel. Lately, my favorite thing to do is to, you know, there are prayers that just say what you need to say. They just say it, and why, you know,
Why try to improve?
Right, exactly, exactly. So I take them and I put music to them the way that I need, and try to keep all of the words exactly as they are.
Perfect. Wonderful. There are a few young men here in the audience and perhaps out on the pavilion who'll be joining you after the service. Just have a small conversation. Our service today is about hunger, and I know you've been active in helping people and bringing people together around that issue. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
What I was thinking about saying, you know, because I knew we were going to be doing this, is there music in general? I guess in talking about Baha'i, because we are, you know, I'm a Baha'i. We're taught, and I believe that I was created, man was created basically to know God, and in respect to the folks who may not even believe in God, but to know God and to carry forth an ever-advancing civilization. Just carry forth and in doing that, we serve. And in serving people, we are honoring that cause to carry forth an ever-advancing civilization. So, in a sense, serving people has been elevated to not just an act, but an act of prayer. So, serving is prayer. And that is really what I want to do. So music.
We have an affirmation that we don't share here that much, but I've shared a couple of times that has in it, service is our prayer. And I think that's exactly right.
So in doing that, so there's more than one way. Like we have talents. I think it's like time, talent, and treasure. That we have that we can use to serve humanity with. I happen to have this talent, and I was born with it, I practiced, but this was something that was given to me. I use it to serve. There's more than one way. I do it with food. I also use it. You ever heard of, there's a thing called Guitars for Vets. And Hope by Song. Hope by Song is another one. The songwriters take the writings from the journals of people who are suffering any kind of trauma. We make them into songs and give them back to them. Singing, it's wonderful. It is really wonderful, and it's done for vets dealing with PTSD. Wow. So service with your skills, your talent, whatever you have, to advance us. Humans, to advance civilization. That's really what it's about, whatever your skill is.
Right. So you do something very specific, though, in terms of concerts to help bring people together.
For hunger, yes.
Yeah.
In our backyard, Carol and I, in our backyard, what we do is we invite other musician friends. I have lots of musician friends. And we'll get together in our backyard. We set up a little stage, and we go out into the neighborhood, and we pass out flyers saying, come to our backyard, we're having a free concert. Well, it's not free. Bring some canned food. Bring some canned food, please. Or if you want to, bring a check. Do what, but just bring non-perishable items. We'll truck them up. You can even tell us where you want us to bring them if you want. So it's a way, again, of addressing a specific need, which hunger. It's funny. It's one of the main. It's a fellow named Chakula, he calls himself, Chakula Smith. He drives around the country. He's the one who inspired me to say, you can't live, you can't treat somebody who's hungry any other way. If you don't eat, you die. It's the number one. So feed people.
Yeah, that's great.
And the idea that you feed children, and I immediately got choked up. Thank you. I'm glad you do that.
Thank these people out here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad you do that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your service, for your gifts, and for sharing them here today.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
It has
Thank
been
you.
an honor. Thank you.
Yeah, let me do that. All right. Let's remain seated and share in our centering hymn. It's number 1053 in the Teal hymnal, How Could Anyone? We'll sing it through twice. The words will be on the screen.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
How deeply you're connected to my soul, all of you. I know, having stood out front, that we will be sharing a sorrow for all those folks who may be departing to the north this week, to the cold north. We could entice you to stay a little bit longer. That would be great. But we wish you safe travels and best wishes on your journeys and on your arrivals. And look forward to your return next year. Thank you again for your presence yesterday at what I think is a moral issue, a moral rally for goodness. So appreciate your being there. And again, our joy in having the members of the Baha'i community here with us today. If you have a joy or a sorrow that you'd like to share, raise your hand. I will bring you the microphone and give us your name and briefly what's in your heart. All right, I'm going this way and I'll get there. All right, anybody over here? All right. I'm moving quickly, so. Oh, wait. First up.
I have a joy. I'm Janet Hoffman. And my joy is that Walt Evans, who goes out most Wednesdays to volunteer for Habitat for Humanity, also takes whatever we have collected in the way of food, clothing, or toiletries to Mission Peniel for their food bank, and they also help in other ways to the farm workers in Immokalee. So thank you.
Thanks, Walt, and thanks, Janet, for organizing.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Hannaful, and I'm delighted today to introduce my daughter, Carrie, and her husband. They came down from Minnesota with 2 of their children and a boyfriend to celebrate my birthday tomorrow. It's nice to have them.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Suzanne, and welcome. Glad to have you with us. Okay, Maria. Try not to have my feet squeak so much. All right, Mary Pat, and then Maria.
I'm Mary Pat Kelleher. Been encouraged to share today. It's something I shared yesterday. So I have joys and sorrows. My great joy is I have a daughter in Australia. Sorry, this is why I didn't want to share. I have a daughter in Australia who has just submitted her thesis for her doctor, which is fantastic. She's been there 3.5 years, And I used to wonder, at that age, would she find somebody and not come home for something good? But during that time, she's transitioned, and she won't come home because of the state of our country.
Yeah.
But I'm going to end with a joy. Because of my husband being an Irish citizen, so are my children. And she holds an Irish passport and can work anywhere in Europe. So she is heading to Ireland for job searching. So back end with both.
There you go. Thank you, Maria Pat.
Yeah.
Maria.
My name is Maria Bibi. I did not make it to the No Kings yesterday, although in spirit I was there. I went instead to the Butterfly Release Remembrance event. A butterfly is a symbol of a meaningful symbol of peace during moments of grief, and the event closed with the release of 1,000 butterflies. So I'd like to thank Aval for such a meaningful and moving experience for all of us who have experienced grief during the past year.
Thank you, Maria. And our gratitude does go to Aval for the work that they do.
My name is Dina Sewell, and my joy was going to be, but Steve Espinosa beat me to it, how proud I am of Tony. He was there yesterday. My great sorrow is that a man who's very dear to many of us, who's actually the gardener here, he helped us with gardening at Planned Parenthood, Israel, excuse me, was denied citizenship. But I'm just going to read you what he said. The judge said that we are good people, that we are a healthy family that doesn't hurt anyone. We pay taxes, we serve the community through the church, and that we fought hard to get ahead, that we follow the rules of this country, and many more things. But they cannot give us a residence in this country for the only reason of having come illegally to the United States 23 years ago. That we sell everything we have, take the money, and return to Mexico to start a new life there. It's that simple. My God, this is not simple.
Thank you, Dina. For those who are not aware, that Israel has taken care of some of the fundamental pieces of our grounds and garden for a number of years, brought to us by Kathy Rippon. He also took part in helping out at Planned Parenthood there and helping build their garden. And yes, he was detained at his last court hearing for citizenship on Friday, I believe. Yeah. Other hands.
Hi, I'm Marion Riggle, and this is Bill, and I'm the one that put the bug in Tony's ear about the mixed blessing of leaving. You know, it just, my husband doesn't want to sell the house, and I just need to sell the house because I do it all, right? And he says to me, "You hate it here?" And I said, "No, I'm going to cry all the way home."
We'll miss you, yeah? Where? Over here, okay.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Diane Keys. I have a joy. Our grandson, Omar's son, Omarly, has been here for spring break with us, and we just love having him. Thank you.
A graduate of Emerson Academy, and so it's great. Grateful for all that's been shared, so deeply felt, and understanding that there are deep feelings that run throughout this gathering that haven't been honored yet, but we honor all those things that each one of you have held in reserve during this time. Please join me in the spirit of meditation. Spirit of life, God of our deepest understanding. In this place of connection, we believe that every heart can burn with the light of peace and of love, even in the most difficult times. Something's always going wrong. It's trying to talk about that. Okay. Let's get this. In this place of joy, we celebrate all that we have something to contribute on our shared journey, whether the road be smooth or rough. In this place of curiosity, we know that there's always something new to learn, even from the old stories. In this place of concern, we understand the world is not as it might be, but we are steadfast in our work of building the world we dream about. In this place of action, though the arc of justice seems long, we will persevere, living our values, helping those in need. And in this place of power, may we realize the potential in each and all to be a light and a blessing to the world. Let's share some time in silence.
More light, less darkness on the paths that I now tread. More joy, less sorrow when my spirit is flown and this tired old body lay dead. More giving, less taking, more faith than fear, more trust than doubt, oh God. More light, less darkness on the paths where my feet have trod. I do not know if when I pass that I'll be able to look back on this life that I'm living here on earth, to see the fruits from the seeds that I have sown here and there since the days of my birth, or ripples from the stones that I have thrown without thinking into the eternal sea. But if I could, I know exactly what I would hope and pray to see. More light, less darkness on the paths that I now tread. More joy, less sorrow when my spirit's flown and this tired old body lay dead. More giving, less taking, more faith than fear, more trust than doubt, oh God. More light, less darkness on the paths where my feet have trod. Standing at the gate or walking through a tunnel toward a light on that fateful day, or meeting some great winged spiritual being to guide me on my way. one thing I want to see there, more light as the darkness on the paths that I now tread. More joy, less sorrow when my spirit is flown in this tired old body lay dead. More giving, less taking, more faith than fear, more trust than doubt, oh God. More light, less darkness on the paths where my feet have trod. More light, less darkness on the paths where my feet have trod. Thanks.
Thank you, Bill. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Knowing the title of this morning's service was Hunger in Paradise, and preparing to serve as worship associate this morning, I asked Tony if this might be referring to Naples, Collier County specifically, where so many describe life as paradise. Yet, as many of us understand, there's a profound wealth disparity here. That disparity is why many of us are involved in outreach, trying to provide a safety net for those who are food insecure, like our weekend meals program. I shared some of my thoughts with Tony about the theme, and he suggested I take a more personal approach to it, so I did. In 2013, my husband Ken and I moved from San Luis Obispo County, California, to Naples, not knowing anyone. We came for the beauty, right? The beaches, the natural wonder of the Everglades, and the proximity to Key West, a favorite vacation spot. At the time, we weren't activists, and we weren't aware of the deeper social justice issues present in this beautiful place. After settling in, finding our favorite beach spots and exploring downtown Old Naples, we visited UCGN for the first time. We had been members of the Unitarian congregation in San Luis Obispo beginning in 2008. That same year, during the Prop 8 campaign, I attended my very first protest. I stood on a busy corner in Paso Robles, holding a No on Prop 8 sign. It was the first time I'd ever taken a public stand for social justice. Late, perhaps, but meaningful. When we arrived at UUCGN and helped form a new social justice committee, our awareness deepened. We began to see the many injustices present right here in our new community. One of the first issues we encountered was food insecurity, and our social justice committee's first project was a weekend meals program, which I knew nothing about before then. As we learned more about Collier County, I was struck by how limited the local social services infrastructure is. Florida provides fewer county-administered services, and there's less local tax investment in direct support. Much of the safety net is carried by nonprofits, United Way, Harry Chapin Food Bank, the Hunger and Homeless Coalition, Community Foundation, Catholic Charities, and others. Support depends on donations, grants, and volunteers. Having spent 30 years working for the Postal Service in San Luis Obispo, the county seat, I had seen a very different model. I handled business reply accounts for social services and witnessed the sheer volume of correspondence, evidence of a large, structured system at work. So I was shocked by the contrast. In San Luis Obispo County, also wealthy, a high-cost area, social services are treated as a core government responsibility. The county employs social workers, case managers, and eligibility staff. The system may not be perfect, but there is a visible, structured safety net. Collier County, by contrast, is one of the wealthiest counties in Florida, yet that wealth is not widely distributed through public services. Poverty exists, often hidden. Hunger exists, but the response is largely philanthropic, not systemic. And while we are deeply grateful for that philanthropy, I cannot help but wonder what it means when compassion depends on charity rather than a shared systemic commitment. I've been thinking a lot about our own personal relationship to food, something I was also discussing with Tony, preparing for today. Many of us right here in this room can go out any time of the day or night and get whatever and go wherever we want for groceries, fast food, even have meals delivered. For those of us that have the means to drive and can afford it, that is profound luxury. Because many of our neighbors are making impossible choices between food, rent, medications, insurance. In 2017, and on a whim, I took a part-time job at Publix at one of their higher-end stores near the beach, assisting the wine department manager. I started at $12.50 an hour. It was physically demanding work. I was constantly running to keep up with the demands of the job, and I was in fairly good shape. I didn't have to work. I was just finding something to do. Well, many employees there were earning $10 an hour or less. Today, cashier wages range from about $11 to $14 an hour to start. Who in the world can survive on that? One moment has stayed with me as I was buying a few items at our neighborhood Publix, including a pack of 2 paper towel rolls that cost $7.99. The cashier, a young woman, maybe late in her 20s, blurted out, $8 for 2 rolls of paper towels? It was a small moment, but it spoke volumes. I was embarrassed, not for her reaction, but for my own complacency. I could afford it. She might not have been able to. She may have been juggling rent, childcare, groceries. Who knows? It made me think about what I choose to spend money on and what I could do without. I've often thought about trying an experiment, shopping for a week or even a month on half or a quarter of what I spend now. And what would that look like? No snacks, no convenience foods, no impulse runs to satisfy a craving, just the basics, a bag of beans, a bag of rice, making soups, leftovers, that kind of thing. Careful planning, time spent cooking instead of buying prepared meals. I'm pretty frugal, and I've always been cost conscious, but I'm also aware that some of the items I've come to depend on are terribly expensive. For me, it would require discipline. For many of our neighbors, it's simply survival. It would mean shifting my understanding of food from abundance and convenience to necessity and intention. And perhaps in that shift, discovering ways to redirect what I save towards those who truly need it. When I am courageous enough to take that challenge, I'll be glad to share my results. Perhaps it's a challenge we could all do together. Until then, I'd like to share this poem based on this morning's theme called Hunger in Paradise. We live in a place the world calls paradise. Sunlight spills across the water, palms sway. Visitors arrive with cameras, searching for beauty, and they find it. But just beyond the frame, there are people searching for something else. Food. Not abundance, not indulgence, just enough. Enough to quiet the ache in a stomach. Enough so a parent can sleep without worry. Enough so a child can focus in school instead of counting the hours since their last meal. In a place of such visible wealth, hunger hides in plain sight. It lives in cars parked overnight, in motel rooms without kitchens, in grocery carts carefully calculated item by item until something must be put back. It lives in choices no one should have to make: rent or food, medicine or dinner, gas or groceries. This is the quiet contradiction of paradise, that beauty and struggle can share the same street, the same sunlight, the same sky. And yet, we are not powerless in the face of this, because hunger is just not scarcity. It's about connection, about whether we choose to see one another fully, honestly, compassionately. It is about whether we believe that paradise is meant for everyone or only those that can afford it. What would it mean to widen the circle of belonging until no one is left outside it? What would it mean to build a community where enough is not a hope but a promise? The truth is, Paradise is not defined by its beaches, or its sunsets, or its beauty. Paradise is defined by how we care for one another. And until no one here is hungry, our work is not finished. Thank you.
This ain't coming from no prophet, just an ordinary man. When I close my eyes, I see the way this world shall be when we all walk hand in hand. Last child cries for a crust of bread, and the last man dies for just words that he said. When the shelter over the poorest head, we shall be free. The last thing we notice is the color of skin, and the first thing we look for is the beauty within. The skies and the oceans are clean again. We shall be free. We shall be free. We shall be free. Stand straight, walk proud. We shall be free. We're free to love we choose, and this world's big enough for all different views. When we all can worship our own kind of cues, we shall be free. We shall be free. We shall be free. Stand straight, hold on. We shall be free. Talks for the very last time, and nobody walks a step behind. There's only one race, and that's mankind. We shall be free. We shall be free. We shall be free. Stand straight, hold on. We shall.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Bill. I will occasionally think when I get a reflection from one of my worship associates in advance of when I actually write my sermon, that I should just leave it there. And this week was one of those. It was just a wonderful piece of writing, Steve, and thank you for that. But of course, I have to say something, so. As you said, hunger, we are living in one of the wealthiest communities, not only in Florida, but in the United States. The wealth disparity is significant here as well. And we also live in one of the most important food-producing areas of our country. So it's hard to imagine how people could be going hungry here. But hunger is more a symptom than a fundamental issue. It's a symptom that has a number of possible root causes. Historically, we could look at periodic events, a few harsh winters, a few hot summers in a row. Drought, pestilence, disease, or flood could impact crops. Decisions about what to grow and what varieties, The great potato famine in Ireland was caused by a decision to grow one particular variety of potato that was inflicted by a mold. And the crop failed, and they could not grow crops, the potatoes, anymore. So decisions, human decisions, obviously. Or we could look to war, where crops and livestock is destroyed and local markets do break down. But in our time, we know that climate change has exacerbated all those things, and that the problems around the world are accelerating, challenging farmers and farm communities here and everywhere. And in today's world, economic systems and politics come more and more into play, where severe disparities in income and underregulated industries create situations where people have to make the kind of decisions that Steve talked about. We only need to look locally at how this works. The unwillingness of developers to build low-income housing and the reluctance of our county government to make it a priority put so many people in untenable positions, teachers who have to sleep in their cars during the week. Our broken healthcare system puts so many people at risk. Michael Finkel talked about this 2 weeks ago in our forum. And make real difficult choices of whether to spend money on a needed procedure or simply on regular payments, or pay the rent. Food deserts are created when supermarkets choose to move out of rural areas, like Immokalee, and instead locate their stores where higher income people live. Some of us know these kind of struggles all too well. And if we don't have to think about them regularly, we should consider ourselves extremely fortunate. But our Unitarian Universalist values will not let us rest. Centering the value of love means we have to be aware. Understanding our interdependence calls us to action. Cultivating the spirit of gratitude and hope, we come together freely and compassionately to serve, to share our faith, our presence, and our resources. And in honoring the idea that every person should have the right to flourish in dignity and love and compassion, we are compelled to use our time, wisdom, and attention and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. This is what our faith calls us to do. There are so many things we can't control, but we can choose how we as individuals and as a community will respond. Supporting our weekend meals program is important. Continuing our collections of food and other items for Mission Peñel is important. And showing up at our county commissioners and city council meetings to argue and support affordable housing, workplace housing, is important. None of us can know what the next hour or day or year will bring for us or any of those sitting around us or for our family members. But these are things we can do in order to help make this world a better place. And should we find ourselves weighing the cost of paying this month's rent versus medical treatment, we will be grateful for others who help. Our faith and our world are constantly calling us to put love at the center. The degree to which we can hear and respond makes all the difference.
At this time, and in the spirit of gratitude, we come to a part of our service where we can all participate together, being mindful of all that our beloved community provides, both within these walls and far beyond them. Through shared resources, we sustain the sacred space that nurtures our spirits, strengthens our connections, and emboldens our heart for the work of justice and compassion. This offering reflects our deep appreciation for the transformative power of this congregation, With every act of generosity, we support not only the growth of our own souls, but also the many hands that reach out for touching lives in our wider community with kindness, love, and hope. May this offering serve as a symbol of our commitment to be a beacon of light, to foster peace, and to create a world where all are free. If you are watching on Facebook Live or viewing later on our YouTube channel, please consider sending your offering to the address on the screen. Our ushers may come forward now.
I'd like to, the author of this song is Frank Julian, and I would like to just acknowledge him and say thanks for letting me do this. She had 5 acres and a house nestled up in the hills, and a good steady job kept her one step ahead of the bills. Her beat-up old Buick wasn't fancy, but it never broke down. Then her husband beat her up one last time before he finally left town. Then the factory picked up and moved down to Mexico. And that unemployment check didn't go as far as it needed to go. Got ate up with worry, trying to live day to day. Then the bank came by, took her house away. There but for the grace of God, there but for the grace of God, there but for the grace of God for you and I. Grace of God, count your blessings for what you got. There but for the grace of God for you and I. She pulls him down by the bridge underneath the North Street light, crawls into the back seat, settles in for the night. She closes her eyes, waiting for the morning to come, wondering to herself where her next meal's gonna come from. Well, she heard of a place on the seedier side of town where you can get a hot meal when your luck has run down. She will go there tomorrow, she knows it's not that far of a ride. She's got some fuel in her tank, if she could only overcome her pride. There but for the grace of God, there but for the grace of God, there but for the grace of God for you and I. Grace of God, count your blessings for what you got. There but for the grace of God for you and I. Now you might think this story ends right there, but you count it out that there's still people who care. They told her of a program where she could go to school for free. Now she's got a job working in physical therapy. She's got a small trailer behind a convenience store. And though it's not the Taj Mahal, she doesn't sleep in her car anymore. She wakes up in the morning, walks over to the Circle K, gets a cup of coffee, reaffirming that her life is okay. There's a man on the sidewalk asking people for their nickels and dimes. She hands him $1, remembering those lean times.
Let's join together once again in the spirit of meditation or prayer. Spirit of life and love. Every week we sit together in awe and wonder for the gifts with which we've been graced. This planet, this life, the beauty of our surroundings, the bounty of our harvest, the shared love and compassion within this gathered community. Yet we know we live in a fragile world where the differences between have and have not, between safety and vulnerability, between a full and an empty stomach is oh so slight. We live in a fragile world where tumult and uncertainty are written on not only on the faces we see on our television screens, but in those we know, our neighbors and friends, those sitting close to us in these seats. Yet we are all broken to one degree or another. Many of us have struggled financially. We've all experienced loss. We all know regret. We all feel pain. In knowing our own fragility, help us find compassion to help carry our neighbor's burden. In gratitude for our bounty, let us find the will and courage to move beyond our own comforts and reach out with our hands and our hearts. In our privilege, help us find the words to speak truth to power for those who do not have a voice. May we always bring our individual lights together to illuminate the path of justice that leads towards health, safety, and beloved community here in this fragile world. Amen. Let's rise and sing. We'll Build a Land. It's number 121. We'll sing all 4 verses.
We'll build a land, we'll bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives run free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll be a land with cities, raising up devastations from old, restoring the ruins of generations. Oh, we'll build a land of people so bold. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. Come, build a land
land where mantles of praises resound from spirits once faint and once weak, when ropes of righteousness stand her people. Oh, come build the land, my people we seek. Come in a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
Into the world in peace, have courage, hold on to what is good, return to no person evil for evil, strengthen the faint-hearted, support the weak, help the suffering, honor all beings. Have a wonderful day.